Thank you all. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here today with Alex Jones, with InfoWars, and this is my second year, and these are the best 2 years of my life. Thank you, Alex. InfoWars is so threatening to the mainstream media because it's the most disruptive form of media that has been brought forward to challenge the mainstream media. If you watch the mainstream media, it all looks alike. It all sounds alike. It has all the same patterns to it. You know, they're talking points. And NPR, I think they go to the famous NPR school to learn how to talk like that on the radio. They all sound the same. Well, the reason is because they are all corporate, CIA, Fed, Mockingbird media. And that's where Alex Jones comes in and disrupts it, breaks the model, tells everybody the truth, fights. And Alex and I have been together for years. I think my first interview with Alex went back to about 2005. And this, this period of time has been one where Alex, I found early on, was a champion for fighting for the American freedoms, for fighting for the Constitution. And we didn't have enough fighting for the Constitution, and now we've got millions, including you. And the reason Alex Jones is vilified and is because the mainstream media is afraid. They're losing viewers by the millions, while Alex Jones is gaining viewers by the millions. And they're seeing it happen. Now, I want to talk to you about two things. I've got to, at 5:30, I'm going to be with Owen, broadcasting, which will be great. I want to talk to you about two things today, about Donald Trump and the Mueller investigation and Zuckerberg's testimony today. The Mueller investigation last night entered into a criminal phase when they burst into Michael Cohen's office. Michael Cohen's a lawyer. He and Donald Trump have lawyer-client privilege. They have confidentiality between the two. And that's in the Constitution. And that's breached. Now, that was breached by a Justice Department that's acting like thugs. They started with Manafort when they burst into his home early in the morning. He and his wife were in bed. They rifle through everything, take what they want, don't explain anything. They stopped Ted Malloch, Professor Malloch from Oxford, American citizen, been on the show many times, been with Alex in studio, a gentleman who would easily have cooperated with Mueller. But instead, as thugs, they broke in. It was vacation. He's coming back to the United States into Logan with his wife to celebrate Easter with her family in Ohio. Mueller's thugs grab him at the airport, throw him in a room, question him, basically take his telephone away from him, and slap him with an injunction, or a subpoena. He has to show up at the grand jury. This is this is the way thugs behave. This is not the way the United States justice system should operate. This is the way criminals operate. And if Mueller is down to wanting to prosecute Donald Trump for something he did when he was 21 years old, or maybe he ordered Russian salad dressing for lunch, Russian collusion is not a crime. There is no crime, Russian collusion. Okay, but the deep state, which I'm identifying as in Department of Justice, having formed a coup d'etat plan, treason in the FBI. I mean, think about that for a minute. It's supposed to be the Justice Department. It's gone to commit treason. We know that from the emails we're getting from Strozik and Page. We know that from McKay being forced to fire in disgrace. We know that from the fact that there is a special inside prosecutor in Utah who has been appointed to examine, along with Horowitz, all the information about the Democrats and the deep state in corruption. Well, I mean, look at it. I think if you study it, there are probably 20 people in the Department of Justice who have not resigned, but have been demoted. Every one of those people, I believe, is cutting a deal. There's probably 20 more people who have left. They're the first targets to go under indictment. And there will be indictments. There will be indictments. I mean, today everybody says, I mean, oh, the White House is under siege. Donald Trump is going to be, this is it for Donald Trump. You know, the prostitutes are going to get him. First of all, American people don't care about the prostitutes. Donald Trump wasn't elected because he was a saint. Donald Trump was elected because he believes in the Constitution. He didn't have to do this job. I wanted you to know that about 3 years ago, and this I'd like everybody to kind of hear, even in the back. About 3 years ago, a group of generals came to me, and it was explained to me they were ready to conduct a coup d'etat. They were ready to move Barack Obama from office with military force. And then a few weeks later, I got another call and said that they were reconsidering. You know why they were reconsidering? No, why? Because they talked to Donald Trump. And Trump agreed that he would run. And they agreed that if he would run, they would conduct their coup d'etat as a legitimate process, rooting out the traitors within government. And that pact between the military and Donald Trump has held. As we've been interpreting and watching, and Alex has been following QAnon, QAnon is military intelligence and close to Trump. And the intelligence we're getting that we've explained on InfoWars really is a lot of the inside script. Now, everybody says Donald Trump is going to lose, he's going to be out of office, he's going to be impeached. You watch CNN, MSNBC, they're throwing a party today, and all the 20 people watching them across the nation are very enthused. Donald Trump will not be removed from office. He will not be removed from office. And in the counterattack he's going to launch, one or two facts that could change everything. Get a report from Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, who details the corruption within the Department of Justice. Donald Trump is right. Maybe we should tear down the FBI building and start over again. And if you take a look at the depth of this corruption, it's pervasive since George H.W. Bush. The bureaucrats who have stayed, including these SES bureaucrats who are there mostly permanently, they're globalists. They don't believe in America anymore. They think they're smarter than America, smarter than the Founding Fathers. We ought to revise the Constitution. There's a very simple word that describes what they are. Traitors. Traitors. It's a capital crime. And I want to predict to you here today that when the tables turn, Donald Trump will be invoking military tribunals, and even Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are going to be facing treason charges. It will not end, and Donald Trump will have the courage to do that. He doesn't need the job. Donald Trump has a vision of the future in which he continues to play a role. And he's seen that vision and he's had that vision with him for decades. And it's all, every time it looks to me, I've said this about Donald Trump, I've known him for decades. I said, Donald Trump always looks like he's going to lose until just before he wins. Always. He's always looking like he's 1 inch from being, losing all his money. 1 inch from losing this deal or that deal. Everything Donald Trump has done in his life has been a success. And this will be too. And he needs our help. This is where the InfoWars army out there, the InfoWars followers, the InfoWars faithful, are the backbone of the Trump train movement. And Trump knows it too. He knows it. He understands it. Donald Trump is following everything that's being done, following what Alex is doing, following what you're doing. And in the final game of this, I think Donald Trump will reduce the bureaucracy. I'd say 95% would be good, maybe 100%, because the bureaucracy isn't specified in the Constitution. There's no discussion. There's no article about the bureaucracy, which means it can all be removed. Fire them all. And I think what we can have is a rebirth, as we say, of freedom in this country. Now, I want to make a couple, and I've got to keep my eye on because I've got 5:30 with Owen. But I want to say 2 or 3 things about Zuckerberg. I'm going to start publishing in InfoWars at the end of this week. Someone has come forth as a Silicon Valley insider, anonymous, and has been writing me extensive emails, which I've now been able to validate. And the story of Zuckerberg and the others is this. Facebook, all of the major ones, Twitter, YouTube, Google, every single one of them is a creation of the CIA. They were funded by the CIA, and they were there. And by the way, they are all considered dispensable. Zuckerberg may not realize it, but he's in the ejection seat. And the button will be pushed and he'll be ejected out. But the real power in Silicon Valley is the infrastructure of the internet. It's the Oracles. It's the Microsofts, the Sun Microsoft systems. These are the tracks, the railroad tracks on which the internet runs, the bridges, the infrastructure. And the people who are really controlling Silicon Valley are the Larry Ellisons. These are the people you know less about because they're not the front men. Zuckerberg is dispensable. Eric Schmidt is dispensable. Google is dispensable. They'll just replace it with another one because the real godfathers are the Larry Ellisons and the others. And who funded Larry Ellison? The CIA, the military-industrial complex, moving in with Lockheed and the others wanting the creation of a new generation of electronic hardware for the military. And in the process, and that started going back into the 50s. What happened is along the way, they realized with social media, they could create something where we would all give them all of our information freely about everything about ourselves. People even post pictures of themselves naked, which they keep forever. Every click you make is going right into the intelligence agencies. And then that data is being profiled and given to the New World Order, sold for money, for advertising and marketing. And by the way, Zuckerberg may have his own rules and we're going to protect privacy, but don't for a minute think that they aren't still collecting the information. They've got it all, it's archived, It's every phone call you've ever made, every email you've ever made, and people are stupid enough to put these devices in their homes which can record everything they say. Facebook can track you even if you're not a member of Facebook. They can all do all the tracking anywhere you appear on the internet, and that stuff is archived forever. What we've got to do is we've got to reclaim the internet. We've got to have an internet Bill of Rights, as it were, to impose First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment. We've got to do this through Congress, and I'm here to tell you that before Donald Trump is done, the internet will be 100% regulated, or it will be broken up. Because Donald Trump understands the threat to our freedom. The threat to our freedom every one of us face with this information is so massive control that never occurred to George Orwell or Aldous Huxley that this could happen. But I'm here to say that in conclusion of all this, the same conclusion in the book I've just written in Killing the Deep State, it ends, in the end, Donald Trump wins. In the end, Alex Jones wins. In the end, InfoWars wins. And never forget that in the end, God wins. Thank you.